you know, like you said, this book has been an opportunity for you to sort of define yourself and let people know from your perspective sort of what the real story is. What is most important for you that people understand about you and your life and the less savory things that you did during your life, that sort of thing? I mean, what do you want people to walk away knowing about you?
Well, you know, when you have your life to live over again, there's so many things that you'd change. I originally got into espionage because I was brought up in a very conservative family. My father was an FBI agent, and I played football, went to Catholic school and all that. But then I grew up in an age of, the assassinations of the Vietnam War and Nixon's impeachment and the race riots. And as I was growing up as a young fellow, my experience of the federal government was that it got worse and worse.
Yeah.
I saw no improvement in the United States government, and I thought that it had abandoned all those things that I had been taught to love, as a child. And when I went to work as a National Security Agency contractor in a communications vault, part of my original briefing for the clearances was that we were not going to live up to the executive agreement we'd signed with Australia to share the information from our joint surveillance operations. And to me, this was just, from my own personal experience, another brick in the wall of what was wrong with the government. And that doesn't justify what I did, but I used it as an excuse to launch a one-man war, as I saw it, on Central Intelligence. And of course that was insane. That was crazy. And I was sent to, and I was a kid, and I was sent to a penitentiary with all this time, to a federal penitentiary. But when the government sends someone to a penitentiary, when they sentence someone to time, they haven't sentenced them to death.
Right.
They shouldn't be putting them in a position where they're going to die with death all around them. And so that's why I broke out of prison, to save my life. And there are things that I did while I was a fugitive. I mean, I was terrified of going back to prison. And I robbed banks while I was a fugitive. And of all the things I've done in my life, that's what I most regret.
The bank robberies?
Yes, because, that made people afraid, that made people, that affected people for a long, long time. And of all the things that I've done in my life, that is what I most regret. But, I never wanted to leave the country. I never took off like Snowden to Russia. I wanted to stay here. I didn't want to live anywhere else, even as I was a fugitive. And I love it here. I love flying my Falcons here. I love our little house. I love working in our yard and our flower garden. And I don't know, I've just kind of found a peace here in Central Oregon, and I really like it here.